everyone, Dawn here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. I got Eric with me today. We're going to talk about, or we're going to give our another top 10 list. This is our top 10 sci-fi movies. By the way, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do all kinds of things here. I do true crime, DIYs, food content, like taste test and cooking, and trying new things from TikTok, and we do Disney content, vlogs, all kinds of stuff. And so yeah, subscribe so you'll get to see something you like, hopefully. So we're gonna, today it's our top 10 sci-fi movies. We already did our top 10 horror, so now we're doing sci-fi movies. And should I start, or do you want to start?
You can start.
My number one sci-fi. Oh, and if
Starting
it's
with number one.
Oh no, we're starting with 10. And I just want to say, if the movie is from a franchise, we can only stick with one movie from that franchise. So there's not going to be like all the Star Trek movies or something like that, okay? Like if we name The Wrath of Khan, we can't say also Final Contact, okay? That's just because some people really love a certain franchise, and then every movie would be from that franchise.
I didn't know you knew two Star Trek movies names. I'm impressed.
I know The Search for Spock.
I liked a lot of those, but they didn't make my list. So.
I like The Wrath of Khan. Okay, so number 10 is, and some people may argue that this is a horror movie or just teen drama, but number 10 for me is The Wraith with Charlie Sheen and Sherilyn Fenn. She and I discussed it the second time I met her. I really love that movie. I used to watch that movie with my dad all the time. He would be like, it was The Wraith, Gargoyles, and Night of the Comet. He would yell up the stairs, Dawn! Night of the Comet, Gargoyles, The Wraith is on. Come watch it with your father. It was usually Gargoyles, but sometimes it was The Wraith or Night of the Comet. So what's your number 10?
My number 10 is Enemy Mine with Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
You like it?
Yeah, they crash land on the planet and become friends. They're at war with each other. But yeah, I'm not going to give up. It's no spoilers.
Okay.
It's only about 50 years old.
My number 9 is The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie. That was another one I would watch with my dad. He wouldn't get as jazzed up about that one because it didn't come on as much. But yeah, The Man Who Fell to Earth, I really like that one.
I don't know much about that one. So I don't know if I've ever actually seen that movie.
I think you would like it.
Okay, my number 9 is WALL-E.
It's a solid
The
pick.
Disney animated movie with Evie and the little roach. And
yeah. WALL-E is a great movie. I enjoy WALL-E quite a bit. My number 8 pick is, again, another movie people might say is horror, but I don't agree with that, is Donnie Darko. It's about time travel, you know?
Yeah.
I really like Donnie Darko a lot. I didn't like Patrick Swayze's character in it. I don't like seeing Patrick Swayze play that kind of character. It's a little darko for me. But anyway, Donnie Darko. Now, there's a sequel. I don't know. It's called Samantha Darko or something like that. That's really stupid. But Donnie Darko is really good.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
Yeah, with his sister. Not the Maggie Gyllenhaal sister, the younger sister. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's a good one. See, I can make all these, like, I can talk about things with mine, but you don't really have much to say about yours. You just like what you like. I was going to say...
It's based on the Arthur C. Clarke book. My favorite author, Arthur C. Clarke. I read that whole series. That's all I got.
Okay, my number 7 sci-fi movie is Dune, the David Lynch version. I haven't watched the new ones yet, but Dune with Kyle MacLachlan.
That's a good one.
I like that. We watched that in like my 7th grade. I had the same English teacher for like 3 years in a row, and she always would play that movie on like the day before Christmas or like the last week of school. She would play that movie a lot.
I liked the. Oh Jesus! What's going on over there?
Piss off! Look, you want it? You want it? You want it? Go get it. Go. Go get it.
I liked the.
Sorry about that. That was cat related. Kitten related problems. Okay, go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
I liked the Dune series, the TV series, the sci-fi series. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but and I also like the new Dune movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one.
I haven't seen it yet, but Batista's in it, so I'm gonna have to see it.
Does he play a Harkonnen?
I don't remember. I don't even know. What's your number
I think
7?
he was in the first one. I can't remember. My number 7 is Moon with Sam Rockwell, where he's mining the helium on the moon by himself. And
Isn't he like, he's all by himself in that
Yeah.
movie, right?
I can't really say too much about it without giving away the plot, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
just him pretty much the entire movie.
Okay, my number 6 movie, again, people might say this is an action adventure movie. I disagree. I think it falls under sci-fi, is Jurassic Park. Rawr.
I think that's definitely sci-fi.
I love Jurassic Park. I like, Eric doesn't like dinosaurs. He hates dinosaurs, so he doesn't like any of the Jurassic Park movies. I love them. I'm a Jurassic Park, what's the other one? I like Jurassic Park movies, especially the original.
My number 6 is Blade Runner with Harrison Ford. I think everybody knows what that one is.
That's a good one.
I like the whole vibe of it.
I thought it was
The whole
sad.
world they built.
Sean Young's character is so sad because she's an android, but she doesn't know she's an android, and they implanted memories and everything. And she told a very... Can you stop licking my feet?
It is pretty sad.
And she told a very specific memory, but it was just fake. It was a fake memory. So sad.
I like when the guy's taking the test. I forget what they call it to prove if he's the Voight Kampf test or whatever it is. And he's freaking out because they ask him something about you're walking through the desert. He's like, wait, what would I be doing in the desert? And it just blows his mind. He's like, I don't go to the desert. I don't like the desert. But anyway, moving on.
Okay, so we're at number 5. Okay, this is another one that, in my opinion, is sci-fi horror. And other people say, no, that's a horror movie. No, it's sci-fi horror. The thing about science fiction movies is they can be funny, they could be sad, they can be scary, they can be a number of things. But anyway, my number 5 is Alien. That movie, when I was little, scared the bejeebies out of me.
Crap out of me too.
Remember?
I consider it mostly sci-fi.
Was it Spaceballs where they're in the diner and the alien jumps out of the guy's chest and has the top hat and cane and he's like, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
I think that was Spaceballs.
That could have been on here, but it's not one of my
Could have been.
favorites. But anyway,
With the Schwartz.
yeah.
Like, your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Okay.
All right. We're on number 5. My number 5 was Contact with Jodie Foster,
That was a good
based
movie.
on the Carl Sagan novel.
Yep.
Like that one.
That was the first time in years, probably decades, I went to a movie where it sold out. And I remember that one because I used to be a really big Kevin Spacey fan, and I was waiting for a movie of his to come out, and when we went to see Contact, one of the previews was for LA Confidential. just a little fact. Fun fact. Fun fact. Where are we now? Number 4?
Number 4.
My number 4 is WALL-E. The Disney movie. Mine got higher up on my list. I mean, WALL-E got higher up on my list. I love WALL-E.
I like it, but I don't really like it. Number 4 like it.
Yeah, you just number 9 like it. But I enjoyed WALL-E quite a bit. I like all the stupid idiots are floating around on their little hovering around with their giant sodas. I know I have giant sodas all the time. And just hovering around, like not doing anything, just big lazy lumps of garbage.
It's all coming true. Just like number 4 on my list, Idiocracy.
I'm going to have to watch that. I haven't actually watched that yet. All right. Are we ready for my number 3?
Sure.
Planet of the Apes. Not the Mark Wahlberg one. Remember when we went to see the Mark Wahlberg one and those people backed their van into our house? Not that one. The OG.
That happened when we saw Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, remember? So, not that Mark Wahlberg BS, but the one with Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. And Roddy McDowall and Kim Hunter.
Yeah, that was
Roddy McDowall's awesome in that movie.
He is. That was another movie I used to watch with my dad all the time. I love Planet of the Apes. It's a great movie. It's one of those movies where I haven't watched it in a long time though, but it's one of those movies where I'm like, I don't have anything to watch. Let's watch Planet of the Apes. I feel that way about Gargoyles too. Even though Gargoyles is a horrible movie, I still will watch it if I find it. I'm like, oh, let me give this a watch, just because it reminds me of my dad. Eric doesn't really have memories like that, but okay.
I like Cornelius and Zira. They're a great duo.
Yeah. 3.
My number 3 was The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
That's
which
a great movie.
wasn't the original Fly, but it was the 1986 Gina Davis. That one's very sad also.
That is a very sad movie. It's great.
I was going to put that on my horror list. Actually, I wasn't going to, but then when someone commented on that video, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That should have been on my list. But then we did the sci-fi list. So now we have the sci-fi list. So I was like, I can put it on there. So that's one that could probably go on both.
Yeah. And are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 movie is E.T. the Extraterrestrial. My niece hates that movie, but Robin hates that movie. She used to hate it because E.T. was scary. Now she hates it because it's so sad. And Marshall won't watch it. He's terrified of E.T. He probably isn't so scared of him now that he's almost 26 years old. And I think I've told you this story before, but I had a little E.T. figure that I had since I was like 11 years old. And you turn the little knob on it and it just like walks around and stuff. But he saw it and he started crying and handed it to me and told me to throw it away. So I didn't want to throw it away. So I put it at the top of the garbage can. And he goes, no, I want it outside. So I threw it in the garbage outside. And I was going to go get it after he, wasn't watching. So I did go get it. But he did not want that thing anywhere near him. And I always thought E.T. was so cute. I love E.T. E.T.'s great.
He's in the Phantom Menace.
I know, the little E.T.s. Yeah.
I don't know, not that particular E.T., but...
I remember when I saw the Phantom Menace, I was like, E.T.! They're at the...
I liked the bicycles and the BMX when they were racing their bicycles. Well, they weren't really racing them. They were running away from people on them.
And a lot of people forget, before he was Pony Boy, Tommy Howe was one of his brother's friend, one of Elliot's brother's friends that drove off on the bicycles out into the... He was one of them. Whoa! When they started flying. A lot of people forget that. Whoa! But a lot of people forget Tommy Howell, or C. Thomas Howell, was...
C. Thomas Howell.
Yeah, C. Thomas Howell.
Sir C. Thomas Howell.
Yeah, Sir C. Thomas Howell was... And now he's all gruff. He's like... Rrr. And like his whole legacy is The Outsiders, which is a great movie and we'll probably see on one of my list. But he, he was in E.T. He was one of the friends.
Drew Barrymore was in that.
Yeah. Dee Wallace, who I met, who is a lovely woman. And Peter Coyote was in that, who was also in The Legend of Billie Jean. And
I felt it was an unnecessary the way they approached him though in their hazmat suits. And
yeah,
they could have been a little nicer.
Yeah, I mean they were like, "Don't. This is a child."
You should really try and de-escalate the situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had de-escalation training.
I love when they get E.T. in the van, and Michael's going to drive off in the van, and E.T. is pulling the little, or not E.T. Elliot is pulling the plugs out of the tubey thing, you know, when that's going to disconnect from the van. And the guy's like, "No, kid, don't do that." And he like pulled it, and they just got drug all around the place. Okay.
It's been a minute since I've seen that movie. I have to brush up on it.
Erica Eleniak, she was a little girl he kissed. And remember when he released all the frogs?
Sort of, yeah.
I want to watch that movie, but I just get so emotional. I'm just getting emotional thinking about it. But I remember we saw it so many times in the theater, and we would buy Reese's Pieces, which I didn't even like that much. And they're not Reese's Pieces. I hate it when people say that. It's Reese's Pieces. You know? But anyway, we would save our labels and mail them in, and we'd get swag. You don't get swag anymore from doing things like that. The kids got it rough today. You don't.
If you ever find Reese, you got to give them back to him.
Yeah. Who's Reese? Okay.
Reese Witherspoon.
Did you do your number 2 yet?
Planet of the Apes is my number 2, which we just discussed.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Do you have anything to add to the
I
discussion?
love Roddy McDowell's speech at the end about the beast of man, the beast man.
Yeah. And I love that they kind of, or I feel like they kind of make you think they are on a different planet. But then at the end you discover, oh no, this is Earth. You know? Okay, so my number 1 movie is Star Wars. Star Wars. Star Wars is my number 1 movie. And remember I said that about franchise, so we're just going to go with Star Wars.
That's my number 1 as well.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite movie of all time, period.
It's a great movie.
Nothing really ever hit me like Star Wars did.
I would have to agree with that, with me too. I was 7 years old when I saw it, so you would have been, what, 6?
Something like that, yeah.
Did you see it when it first came out?
I don't think I saw it right when it first came out, but I might have.
We saw it on the night it opened.
Because I saw it at this fancy theater in Kansas City, like it might have been the Uptown Theater. It wasn't like a big Cineplex. It was, and they had people dressed up as Jawas walking around.
Star Wars here, it was before we got the Cineplex boom around here. And
it might have been before that for me too.
But I don't know, because there wasn't social media and the internet and everything back then, but I distinctly remember going in the theater. It was right across the street from where we live now. The theater was like a big circle, and then had 3 theaters inside it. And there were people there dressed up in costume. And I was a little kid, but I mean, even looking back, I'm like, how did they even know what to look like without the internet? You know?
I think the people just went to see it a lot of times right when it first came out, and that's how big it was immediately.
Yeah, and it was I didn't want to go. My sister and brothers wanted to go, and I wanted to hang out with my sister, and so I was like, all right, I'll go. And we sat there and watched it 3 times.
In the theater?
Yeah, 3 times in a row. And then we went and had Pizza Hut. When Pizza Hut was a restaurant you can go in and sit in. They still have some you can go in and sit in, but that was epic. It was funny to go to a movie when it's still light outside and come out when it's dark. It's such a weird feeling, but I loved it. I loved that movie when I first saw it. I still love it. And Rise of the Resistance, you guys, this is very important to me that you know this. If you ever go to Disney World, go to Disney Hollywood Studios, buy yourself an individual lightning lane. It is worth it to go on Rise of the Resistance, because every Star Wars fan has to experience that ride. There are a lot of people out there, naysayers, always saying nay, that say it's not, that ride is overrated. No, it is not. It is underrated. You need to go on that ride if you are a Star Wars fan. My therapist said she wept when she got off of that ride. I almost wept when I got off of that ride. It is epic. It is such a great ride.
Do yourself a favor.
Yeah. If you are a Star Wars fan and you find yourself in Hollywood Studios, you need to, if you're a regular guest and it's not a special event, get on your little device, go to your Disney experience, purchase yourself an individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance. You have to do it at 7 a.m. or you won't get another chance. And get that freaking lightning lane pass. It is worth it to pay the extra price to get it, because it is very important to me that you, if you're a Star Wars fan, experience Rise of the Resistance. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. It's all right.
Even like in the queue, just the details, it is flawless.
I think it gets some negativity or hate because it's not based on the original Star Wars. It's the new Star Wars movies with the new stormtroopers or the old new stormtroopers.
Because they're old.
No. Wait, now I'm confused.
It's an experience. If you just imagine it's the way you want it to be. If it has taken the place, because Twilight Zone Tower of Terror used to be my favorite ride. Now my favorite ride is Rise of the Resistance. And I hate saying that because it's such a belly button choice, but it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to continue with these top 10 movie lists. We're going to do top 10 Disney movies next because my Disney trip is coming up. So, that's it.
I was going to say that I don't really hate the new Star Wars movies that much, the Kylo Ren stuff and Rey. I think they're pretty good.
I didn't like them at first, but Eric was watching them one day and I walked in the living room and I laid down on the couch and just started watching them. So
they're not my favorite.
I think Kylo Ren wins the award for the greatest head of hair in Star Wars ever.
I think that if Star Wars came out today, people would bash it and hate it because it's kind of cheesy a little bit and the acting is pretty good, but some of it's not that great. You know what I mean?
Well, it's very 70s acting.
Nothing really will ever hit the way it hits when you're 7 or 8 years old watching your first science fiction movie with all those droids and stuff.
It's unbelievable.
You can't really recapture that.
And I remember after we saw it and we came home, I begged my dad to go see it with me because, like I'm saying, it's very important for you to experience Rise of the Resistance. It's very important to me that you experience that. It was very important to me that my dad saw Star Wars with me.
I remember when Marshall had his TV VCR combo and Star Wars was stuck in the video cassette player.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's fine. We'll just watch that over and over. You could play it and rewind it, but it just wouldn't eject.
Yeah. I think we got that on clearance for like a really good price. Because it wasn't like us to buy something like that. And I think we got it at a really good price. And it lasted a while before the movie got stuck in there. So, because we didn't have cable for a really long time. We still don't. We just have streaming.
VHS tapes were still a thing when Marshall was little. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was our top 10 sci-fi films. We're going to go and do other stuff tonight. And we'll talk to everyone later. Bye.